Alright. Numero
I really
5.
need a piss, actually.
Alright, Ben here. We are going to talk about a bit of our favourite albums next episode. I'm going to be talking about my top 10 albums and go a bit more into that. But right now we've got Ethan here to complete the little nut bunning.
Hi, guys.
Yep.
I'm here.
So you've compiled a list of your top 100 albums, haven't you?
Started from the top, so I started with my top 10, which was kind of easy because I already had some ideas in my head about that.
But it's not in order, is it?
It's not in order, no. Well, if you're making a list of 100 albums, it's almost impossible to choose one that's top of all of them. Because if you listen to a lot of different genres of music, you're not going to have one that's better because it's so different.
But if you were just walking down the street and talking about music with someone and they said, what are your 10 favourite albums? Would those 10 be the 10 you say? Or
yeah, they'd
would
be
like
the 10
number 12 be it?
They'd be the 10 I say, but they wouldn't be in order. I wouldn't be like, and then this, and then fourth it's this one, and then...
Okay.
So, I've got a group of favourite albums.
That's fair enough. I put my top 10 in a vague order that I will try to stick by, but we'll see what we do with yours. You can list some honourable mentions that you feel like just missed out.
Michael Jackson, Bad.
You're getting a bit of every genre in here, aren't you? You're not just sticking to one genre.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Linkin Park, Meteora. That just didn't make it. Nevermind, Nirvana.
Oh, wow, that didn't make your top 10.
It only didn't make my top 10 because there's one of their other albums that got in there that I like a bit better. Dookie, Green Day.
Oh, right. Classic.
I really like that album, but, you know, over time, it's still a great album, but, you know, I think I've matured just a little bit from that period in my music listening. Whatever people say about me, that's what I'm not. Arctic Monkeys. Because, again, another one of their albums made it into the top 10, and I didn't choose that one, even though it is great.
Right, well, all right.
Get on your dance! Yeah.
Let's go on then, bring us into your top 10 then. If we're going at that rate, you're starting to talk about him, so let's get started. What is your number 10? And it's not in any order.
Not in any order, I'm just gonna...
Your number 10 could be at number 1. Like, the one that's in number 10 could be your favourite album.
Well, yeah, but I haven't got a favourite album. We've got the 2 rows here, 2 rows of 5, so I'm just going to start from the bottom right. First one is Out Come the Wolves by Rancid. I think compared to their other good albums, the storytelling and the songwriting is at its peak in this album.
It's enduring, isn't it? You can.
And that's what I love about Rancid. I think they're really great storytellers. Makes sense that this would be my favourite album because every single song has a different story, and you feel like they're telling all the stories from heart. You get a feeling of like togetherness from this album with the group,
right?
As just friends and not just like band members.
It helps because they're playing so like fast and tight.
Yeah, and they're also like in the lyrics they're talking about each other and
yeah. Have you got a favourite song from the album?
Good. Hang on. I'm gonna have to look actually.
Yeah. How long have you listened to Out Come the Wolves?
What, for how long have I been listening to it?
I remember in media class.
Oh yeah.
I remember in media class in year 13 with Mr. Rice, and they were asking what our favourite albums were, and you said Out Come the Wolves. I remember it.
He had no idea what it was.
He put something different on the whiteboard, didn't he? He was like, Out Come the...
And then I didn't want to correct him, so I just left it, but then I think someone else knew it and they said what it was.
You're looking at the tracks now.
I think it might be Disorder and Disarray.
Disorder and Disarray?
Yeah.
That's a classic song.
It starts off really like punky, and then the classic Rancid comes out of like the storytelling and everything. And the anger in the vocals is great.
And he tells the bus driver to fuck off.
Yeah.
Driver said that ain't enough, man. I said, what the fuck you talking about? Say goodbye when you see the sign. Now I'm crucified.
Number 9. You know what that's from?
Yeah, no.
That's Beatles. Number 9.
You mean like the Beatles?
Yeah.
Okay. It's this is a record that I'm just gonna say it's Rage Against the Machine, their first album.
Well, I'd like to ask, unrelated to the album, but you call it a record. Where do you draw the line in calling something a record? Would you call something that came out this year a record?
Yeah, it's a record. Well, I guess it's quite old-fashioned
Yeah, that's what I associate with.
terminology, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I like calling it record because it's more interesting than just album or disc, as some people call
Don't
it.
you think it's akin to calling films the pictures?
The pictures. Yeah, probably.
But you wouldn't call the films the pictures.
The films. No, well, that's just me, isn't it?
All right. So Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not. You don't need to defend it because I don't know many people that are gonna ask you why.
Yeah, well, when the first time I heard it, I think I was quite politically engaged at the time.
When was
Well, I
that?
still am now, but it's probably a bit more angry back then because I was a teenager. First year of sixth form.
That was when you first heard about it, and why did it make contact with you in the way that it did?
Just because it's heavy, but then it just like grooves, like the
Yeah.
riffs and stuff are proper like bluesy. The drum beats and the bass just make you want to like move.
Like
I
a
was
Red
gonna- I
Hot
was
Chili
gonna-
Peppers turn the ramps up.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say compared to other forms of heavy metal, but I wouldn't say that they're heavy metal. I'd say that they're
Hard rock.
hard rock.
Yeah.
But compared to other forms of hard rock at that time, a lot of it was like dun 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 dun, and
Like a.
like Pantera or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I love Pantera, but just compared to Pantera, the riffs and the groove of the music is just a lot more fluid, I think.
Mhm.
And you can dance with it. You can dance in a different way to it than you can to a lot of other heavy rock. Another thing that got me into it was his lyrics and then obviously, like, you know, when you find a new band or whatever, you look them up or whatever, and then I kind of like their style. I think I probably tried to dress like them a bit.
Yeah. How long were they your desktop background photo for?
Oh, you mean in sixth form? Probably the entirety of the... Probably, I think more so because I just didn't want to change it. I didn't want to go through the ordeal of looking for a new background.
Oh deal.
It-
Nothing could replace it.
It is
Basically, is what you're
not,
trying to say.
yeah.
All right then. Favorite song?
Know your enemy.
Know Your Enemy.
Yeah. You know. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
War with inside and a raised fist. A witness to the slick wrist that's with moving to 92.
I think because of that riff at the beginning, it's just sick. And I think it's probably the riff that I play the most on guitar out of their songs.
All right. Number 8.
Number 8 is It's Minor Threat, their second album. Some people call it First 2 7-inches as well.
Versus their first album. Why is it not as good?
The production's slightly upped.
What is it? What
You
is
know, the thing about Minor Threat is that they're just like the epitome of hardcore punk. They're everything you'd want from a hardcore band. The songs are just well written. The emotion, and it's also a sign of the times when it was made, I think, like with Reagan in power in America and whatever.
When was it released?
83, 84.
Oh wow! I didn't realise it was that old.
When do you think it was released?
I don't know. I thought late 80s.
No. And also the messages behind them, like the song Straight Edge, it inspired a lot of people to change their lifestyle and get into hardcore punk.
Like you?
Me? I don't know, who said that?
How did it work? So how's it affected you? What did you change?
Well, like, but it didn't completely change my mind, but it just gave me like another perspective.
Validated you?
No, I don't, but it just made me think that it just gave me a perspective that getting drunk and losing your consciousness wasn't necessary to like having a good time or whatever. And you don't have to try and fit in with everyone else if that's not who you necessarily are. Yeah.
Would you ever go straight edge?
No,
Yeah. Why not?
because I like the idea of it, but it's not. I don't think it would really fit with my lifestyle, and I wouldn't be happy if I did it. I don't think. Like,
It's no alcohol.
I can take. I think I've taken some elements from the straight edge lifestyle, but I've left the ones that I don't think really suit me.
No alcohol. No drugs.
No casual sex.
Is that really a part of it?
Yeah.
And vegetarianism or veganism?
Veganism. Yeah. Well, no, you can be vegetarian there, and then there's like straight edge vegans.
I can see you've taken a bunch of that into account, but I
Yeah.
can't see that you've committed to them. You don't need to be a part of the community.
No, yeah, exactly.
Different perspective, and that is what
Yeah.
makes it such a great album. So
Yeah.
what is the best song for you on the album?
Straight edge.
Okay, number 7.
Toxicity by System of a Down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the albums that we're most likely to share.
Yeah, I remember we were in Murcia and we were sitting in the basement doing a puzzle with Toxicity on, right?
Oh yeah.
It was on the thing.
And it was sick.
That was a good puzzle. Well, how did you first come into contact with the album then?
You, I think.
Oh yeah, I told you about System, didn't I? Because
Yeah.
I started listening to it because of Zach.
I remember
Good
I
old
went,
Zach, if you're listening.
I went home that night probably, and I got it up on Spotify or whatever. I remember I listened to, I think it was Prison Song,
Ooh.
and it like scared me because I think I'd never heard anything that heavy before.
Hmm.
So I just couldn't listen to it for like a week. I think I actually had a little bit of like PTSD because when I like looked at the album cover, I was like, like not because I hated it, but because I felt like I wasn't ready for that amount of like heaviness at that time. And then I came back to them a few weeks later or whatever, and then I realised that they're actually really, really good.
This was your gateway album for System, but it's still their best.
I think it's one of the best albums from that period of heavy metal.
Yeah. Toxicity is the perfect in-between their sophisticated music and the raw music of their early
It's
album.
like if dance music made heavy metal, because it's so like bum dum 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 and like,
And the drums are so erratic.
yeah.
I have a very hard time
And you never
getting
really know when it's going. That mix between like metal and folk music or whatever, or traditional Armenian
Your favourite song then?
shimmy. Should I know that one, guys?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I was playing it in my head. Really?
Yeah, I think it's shimmy. I was going to say shimmy or science, but
I wouldn't describe them as my top two.
What are your top two?
I like Needles and Jet Pilot.
Yeah, I like shimmy because I think I was a little bit angsty when I'm saying I like it the best because it's one of the songs off the album that like I listen to separated from the album like over and over again.
You're an album guy, aren't you? So you generally listen to stuff in order.
Yeah, and then that song I took out and I listened to on its own more so than the others. I think it's just really like ridiculous, like the whole chorus, the whole thing about like kind of taking the rat race, if you want to call
The
it
American
that,
Dream.
the American Dream, and then talking about it as like some kind of dance or whatever. As in, it's like they're taking it too seriously, and I don't really realise that they could be enjoying their lives when they're actually just trying to get more money or whatever.
Deep shit.
Don't be late for school again, boy. Take me, I want life. Take me, I want out to the wife. I want to shimmy, shimmy, shimmy through the break of dawn, yeah.
Number, we'll see next one then.
Favourite Worst Nightmare by the Arctic Monkeys.
When did you first come into contact with this?
Around when it was released, I think 2006 or 7.
Jesus, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I didn't actually like I liked it, but I never listened to the whole album.
Jeez, man, I didn't even listen to music in 2007. I just played The Sims. So
One of my cousins was really into them, and then he played them to me, and then I thought it was really cool.
well, you relate to it because it's from sort of like the Sheffield area, isn't it? You've got a family history there.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think not every, but a lot of young people that have grown up in with a lot of people around them, a lot of different kind of people, because it's like Rancid. It's people telling stories about themselves, but this time the stories I feel like I can relate to almost everyone.
It's the experience of lower and middle class.
Yeah, exactly.
British youth.
And just like the anger in some of the songs.
I wouldn't describe it as angry though. Is it like
It's like resentful.
Right.
It's resentful of these things that are just like accepted in a lot of parts of major societies, and it's resentful of just the people that take part in some activities.
What song do you think encapsulates that the best then?
Probably a few. I wouldn't say there's one.
No, just which one do you think speaks to young people the most?
Fluorescent Adolescent, because it's probably the most famous track of the album, and it's just that intro. Everyone knows that bit that it starts with, and I think it encapsulates certain parts of youth in the UK.
Does say adolescent in the title, to be fair.
Yeah. And the whole thing about like the boys saying she's a slag or whatever. Like I remember a time when
You got called a slag.
no, when like in our lives when it was just like people just said that they just said, oh yeah, I think she might be a bit of a slag or whatever.
So what's your favourite song from the album? Would you also say it's Fluorescent Adolescent?
No, it's not Fluorescent Adolescent.
No. Hmm?
It is Teddy Picker.
Teddy Picker. Yeah,
Teddy
why?
Picker. I think it encapsulates like the feeling they were trying to get for that album.
Ah, okay.
It's just a like solid song. It doesn't get. I'm not saying that songs that get slow are bad or anything, but it doesn't like kind of slow down and have a bit of a like interlude or whatever kind of bit like a bridge. It keeps going. It keeps going like it wants to tell this story because the whole song's about like one night stands and getting off with each other, and so the fact that the song's quite fast and hard hitting kind of represents the lyrics. And I also love that bit at the beginning. You know, it starts with like the didun didun bidun didun din didun.
They sped up to the point where they prove
You've got to come back in. Alright, so number 5.
Another hardcore classic. It's Bad Brains.
And it's Bad Brains' eponymous album, right?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Right. Now, you were crazy about this for a while. I remember you just telling me to listen to it like all the time.
Great.
But what brought you to that conclusion?
I'd never heard anything like it before, and I loved it. I remember, similar to System, when I first heard Band in DC, I was scared of it because I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how something could be that angry and that like aggressive. But then when I went into more detail and listened to the whole album, I realised that that song and a lot of the others, they're telling stories of the times and of kind of how they feel they were represented by other music scenes, I think, because hardcore punk was quite an underground thing at that time, at its inception.
Is this 1980?
Yeah, 1980.
Really early.
Or 81. I think it's 81 actually. So yeah, it's right at the beginning of hardcore punk, and it's really quite a defining album in what's probably been my favourite genre of music for a while.
And what makes them the kingmakers?
They're just,
the kings.
I'm going to say it, I think they're the best punk band ever.
No, fair enough.
I think they just encapsulate everything that punk wants to be defined as. You know, like fast, crazy, like nonsense vocals, but then at the same time still able to keep rhythm with the rest of the music. And when I say nonsense, I don't mean like they don't mean anything, but just ridiculously enunciated words and stuff. And
Right. So why would you say that Bad Brains, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't sort of touted as the kings of punk in the way that like the Sex Pistols are?
I don't think they're heavier and they're less accessible than the Sex Pistols are. Because you can get a fan of rock music that likes the Sex Pistols but not the Bad Brains, because I think the Sex Pistols are more accessible.
But they talk about abortions and say like the F word about 15 times every song.
Well, you'd probably be used to that if you're a fan of rock music.
Not in 1970.
Yeah, but now, because
Okay,
you wouldn't get Bad Brains becoming like an
question I asked
icon.
you.
Is it?
That is, yeah, no. I was going off question and you were on question. But in that regard, you'd say that they are just as influential, if not more influential?
They're definitely like a punk band.
Okay.
Like they're the band that if you listen to a lot of punk, if you like your punk, then you're gonna like the Bad Brains.
I guess
More so than the Sex Pistols, probably, because I'm not saying the Sex Pistols are mainstream, but they're kind of, I think Bad Brains are recognised more by big fans of music and not just...
I mean, to be fair, we're British, and of course the Sex Pistols is going to be a celebrated band.
Maybe Bad Brains are more popular in America.
Right, maybe on the East Coast they're really well known.
Yeah.
Now the album cover is awesome as well.
Yes. My favourite song from this album is The Big Takeover.
Big takeover.
Big Takeover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need to justify it, to be honest. It's just fucking sick. That every time I listen to it, that bit where it kind of like hits in with like the doodle-doo-doo, that sounds kind of like something from a disco song or something. You can imagine it like some kind of like slap
Funky
bass.
wah-wah.
Yeah, exactly. But then they put it into a punk song and it works perfectly, and it just makes you want to get up and start fucking destroying shit.
Right, next.
It is Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Lightning sound effects.
Why is that there and not Master of Puppets or the Black
I
Album?
love Metallica, but I think this album it's a huge step up from Kill 'Em All with like the instrumentation and everything.
Yeah.
There's acoustic guitar in there, and the drums are a little bit more sophisticated.
And also a great album cover.
It's a sick album cover. And I feel like every single song feels like it was made in like the rain. Like it was just made on like a mountain stuff, and like lightning's coming down, and it's like, and then you just see like
Get written into the commandments.
yeah, you just see
the notes.
You just see like James Hetfield coming out with his guitar, and then he just starts like duh, 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 duh.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
It's just it's epic.
I can totally see what you're saying. Well, then why would you not call like any of their other albums as epic, like the Black Album?
Well, I don't actually like the Black Album.
I know, that's why I kept referring to it. I wanted you to talk about it.
Well, a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not really thrash metal. It's more of just like these plodding, big, over pronounced riffs that go on for too long, and they're not really that great. They're like the songs aren't actually that good. They're just the production makes them sound like these big like anthems.
Stadium.
Yeah,
They went stadium.
They went stadium. That's what it is.
What about Justice for All?
That's a great album, but it's not perfect. Can't hear the bass.
You can't.
Can't hear the bass on any of the tracks. It's so low in the a lot of like this. I'm not the first person to say this at all, but it's so low in the mix that it doesn't let the album down, but you know it stops it from being a really great album, because every song on that album is really good as Ride the Lightning, I'd say, but it stops it from.
What if they remastered it and put the bass up?
Well, it wouldn't be the same then, because it would be like a new album.
Like a bastardization.
Yeah.
What's your favourite song from Ride the Lightning?
I think it is. I think it's Ride the Lightning, the title track, and it goes on forever as well. Like, when you think it's going to end, it doesn't, and it's sick.
Yeah, it's the most epic, isn't it?
Yeah, and I love how it starts with like the drums and the GI guitars and stuff.
Why don't you take a listen? Is it your second? No, it's your third. All right, number 3.
All right. This is. I'm gonna say out of this list, this is probably my favourite. I know I said I wasn't gonna do it, but you know now I'm thinking about it compared to the others.
Should we talk about it last?
No, let's just do it now. Oh, actually,
But it's your time. We should talk
let's
about-
do it last. Okay. So moving on.
Your real number 3.
It is Drenge.
Drenge is Drenge.
Drenge is Drenge. It's their first album.
Is this just another band that you like because they're from the north?
No, it's not. I do associate them with the Arctic Monkeys a little bit. I love the energy of the band. I love the anger. Well, it's not anger again, is it? It's just like resentfulness and kind of disappointment.
Would you say it's more in the lyrics or the instrumentation?
I think it's both. Like the guitars and the drums sound just like they sound like hatred.
They sound like hatred. Is there a song that really puts that, really...
They sound like hatred, but with a bit of sadness.
Okay.
Guitars. I love the guitars. I already said what I think about them, but they definitely influence my guitar playing, I think.
I can see that.
As a more modern band than all the others, when I heard it, I think it gave me a little bit of, not hope, but... Excitement, yeah, as to what... Because it's the first album as well, and as to what more they have to give.
I know what you mean. It's like, oh yay, all my favourite bands aren't dead and disbanded.
Yeah, exactly. Favourite song from that album, I think it's got to be Backwaters. I don't know how to describe it apart from like, it's a song to listen to when you've had a really bad day or something, or you want to listen to a song about just like an angry, or it's a lot of resent. There's a lot of resent for people and things in that song that I feel are taken out with music.
And you relate to it.
Yeah, I relate to it. Here comes Backwaters.
Its mother kicked and broken its neck. I never seen blood or milk make it so divine. I never seen such beauty so malign.
Number two.
Symbolic by Death.
This is a recent addition to your list, right?
Yeah, it's probably the most recent. I'd known about them for actually a few years, but I never actually gone into them.
Is this another case of, they're probably too hard?
Yeah, I think it is. For me, it was more about the vocals. I couldn't get into the vocals.
I close my eyes and sink within myself. Relive the gift of precious memories.
So that's why I struggled to get into them for a while.
Right.
And then
same.
I think I just listened to a whole album. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to like this band. I just have to get over it. Then I listened to this album and I was like, fuck me, they're good.
Was it the first album you listened to fully?
Yeah, it was. I think in places it blew my mind how intricate, like hard hitting some of the guitar parts can be. And it's amazing how they can go from like the most heavy thing ever into like kind of clean melodic segments. And then even though he's like screaming, shouting the vocals, you can still hear the emotion behind them. With a lot of, we've said this before, but with a lot of other death metal bands, a lot of the vocals are just like deep, like guttural roars almost.
And they don't come from anything.
Yeah, they don't come from anything.
You can definitely sense a sort of, maybe deprivation, would you say, in his voice?
Oh yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Deprivation of something.
Yeah.
I feel like he sings about a lot of things that he could have had, but he didn't.
Alright, your favourite song then?
It is Misanthrope. I love the whole song. It's a great, well-rounded song. But that first riff at the beginning is just so telling of the whole band, and that riff that just starts with that up and down picking, and it's like chugging, but you don't know it's chugging because it's so fast. And then and then the drums come in, and then the vocals. It's just like it's like a symphony. That song.
Yeah. Will this album influence your guitar playing in the same way that Drenge has?
I don't think so, because I'm not that good. The thing about Drenge is it's great because I know that I can play all of it. I can play some of Death, but then some of it I'm just like, yeah, I'm not even going to try that.
Too fast and too complicated?
Too complicated, yeah.
How many times did you listen to the album, like, back to back, did you?
I don't know. I listened to it, like, almost every day on the way back from uni at one point.
Good God. Did you fall asleep to them?
Could. No.
No, you go for more about Pantera to fall asleep, don't you?
Yes, I do. Right, here's Misanthrope.
Alright, your number one. I'm going to speak about it earlier, but we've moved it up to your number one because you've decided this is actually your favourite album of all time.
It is, yeah. My favourite album of all time is Bleach by Nirvana.
Was this your entry album to Nirvana? Or did you come in through Nevermind?
No, I came in through Nevermind.
Right.
And then I found Bleach, and I was just like, that's just me in an album.
That's sort of like Drenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very grungy.
We can get your style from this, yeah. That's Bleach is definitely, every time you send me like, hey man, I've got a riff, do you want to listen to it? Bleach is the one I'm like okay, that's Bleach.
Yeah, they're definitely very influential in my music.
When did you first come into contact with Bleach?
Sixth form, I got into a lot of new music, so I think it's probably the start of sixth form. I struggled to say why. It's just something about like the desperation the way that they portray just like I just don't know how to describe it. How do you describe Nirvana? Because it's different from the rest of their albums. It's a lot not heavier. It is heavier, I guess. It's a lot more raw than their other albums. The songwriting is simple. I'm going to say it's simple, but then it's quite instrument based. But then when you want a really well written song off that album, you can get one.
Yeah. You were talking about how do you describe them, or how do you describe Bleach in a way that Bleach would make me, when I listen to it, I feel sort of like this is a band that knows their best stuff's yet to come.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's hopeful. It sounds like they went into the studio, they'd never written any music before, and they just came up with it all, and it's just like a projection of their emotions and the way they were feeling.
It just feels spontaneous.
They brought something into the world that had never been really heard before. It was a new type of music, and I think a big reason why I like it. It represents me as a person, maybe, and like the whole grunge subculture. I don't like calling it that, but I think that's like when you hear Bleach, you like if someone says, "Oh yeah, that's grunge," like it kind of sounds grungy. It just sounds grungy. I'm not against the word grunge being used to describe like how the music sounds. I just don't like it describing the subculture around it.
Do you think calling the subculture grunge sort of pigeonholes it into a time period?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And it solicits it to only be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And to be a thing that can be like used by the news or whatever, or anyone who wants to group a lot of bands, which sound quite different. A lot of the grunge bands, they don't all sound the same. That's what a label does. Like grunge, it tries to make the bands sound the same.
Okay. And what's your favourite song off Bleach?
I think it's Swap Meet.
Swap Meet? I don't think I've even heard that.
Never heard Swap Meet?
No.
I first heard that when I was in not bad place, but I just needed something that could like speak to me, and that song spoke to me, as well as the rest of the album. But that song individually spoke to me a little bit more than the other songs. There's just something about the chorus and the riff and that sound kind of like strangled, and kind of something wants to be released, like this kind of energy or whatever in the form of emotions wants to be released, and then when the chorus comes around, it does.
Well, there's your 10 albums. But Swap Meet, right, is your favourite song of your favourite album.
It's not my favourite song ever.
Yeah, I was going to lead into that.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time when it's Benny's turn, isn't it?
And we get to, I don't know, I guess we'll get to see a bit more of the overlap, because...
Yeah, because at the moment we've only got mine, haven't we? Way!
We're really bad at endings.